People think in our country we have this different perception about bacteria, don't we? It's like, wipe it out, kill it, it's bacteria. It is not bad. There's some bad bacteria, but most of it is healthful for us. So your gut contains tons of bacteria. If we were to scrape it out, it would weigh about 5 pounds on the table, like trillions of bacteria. Good bacteria, 85%. Bad bacteria, 15%. We have to maintain that level. Why? Because our health or our sickness begins in your gut, where your immune system, right? I mean, that's where it begins. So what you want to do is, by using probiotics, food, good things, you want to add that into your body, and what happens? The good guys are winning, and what's going on? When the good guys win, health takes over. So you want to be healthy. What's happened in our country is we went from the healthiest nation 120 years ago to the sickest nation on the planet with the highest healthcare costs. But that is where's my soapbox? I don't want to get into that, but come to another class and I just may let loose. So what we want to do is we want to take charge of our own health. This is one of the many ways you can do it. We used to have, we didn't have refrigeration back in the day. How did we keep our food from spoiling? Hello. Salt brine, right? Pickling. Over in Germany, what do they eat? Sauerkraut, right? In the Orient, what do they eat? Kimchi, things like that. The only difference is the vegetables you're using and what you're flavoring your brine with, okay? So, without further ado, let's begin. So what I'm doing is, you can pickle just about anything. I especially love asparagus. Asparagus is really good to pickle. Of course, cucumbers, right? Cucumbers, great. When we think of cucumbers, we think of pickles, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I always, always, always use organic. Can you grow it yourself? Absolutely. Take the gardening class. It's the 4th class. Hang out all day. You'll have amazing, amazing time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now sometimes you can take a big bowl and put all your veggies in and then just start pickling it, okay? But I'm going to layer it so it looks pretty, just because. Because I can. And so everything I use is organic. Why?
No pesticides.
Thank you. We don't want pesticides, do we? Are we forced to have pesticides in our food? Yes. Pretty much. So, and now we have genetically modified things. That's another, where is my soapbox when I need it? That's another whole thing that's really got a lot of people very, very concerned, is genetically modified, because they're not labeling it, okay? So, sad, sad, sad day. Okay. Carrots are nice and colorful. This is so funny because I usually have lots of colors, and I had celery and broccoli and onions and garlic left, and I made it, and it's delicious, just so you know. So usually it's like I've got like color, but I didn't for that. And I'll swap out color so that you really see the difference. You want to just cut your vegetables into little bite-sized pieces. Some people like bigger chunks than others. You don't have to be, it's whatever your family prefers. You like small chunks? I like small chunks. I put this a lot on the top of my salad, and a lot of times I actually use the brine as part of my dressing. It's really good for you. So, I mean, why waste it, right? I mean, I've been known to just chug the rest of the brine when it's done. Yeah, they'll find me in the kitchen, they'll go, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting healthy." We're going to do this again, and then we're going to put some cabbage in there. I like to make it a little bit more colorful, so the cabbage will go on the top. Hope you don't mind. All right. Yeah, we'll do the cabbage on the top. Now, what if I were going to make just sauerkraut? What you do is you take your cabbage, you shred it up, cut it up, nice and small in a bowl, and then you add your salt and you pound it. You can pound it with a baseball bat. I have a cabbage shredder. You can do a cabbage pounder. It's actually used for that. You can pound it with anything. A meat cleaver, you know. You can do, but what you're doing is all that water that's being held in the cabbage is coming out, okay? And then you just need to add a little bit of extra water when you're done. All these recipes I can give you. I'll just email you guys, and I'll give you all the information. All right, here we go. How simple is this? Now see, I was just too busy talking. This is it. And doesn't it look pretty? It's hard to believe that this is so good for your gut. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to get it so packed, so good, and then we're going to put our brine in there. We make our own brine. You don't use vinegar. Lots of people, when they come to a class like this, they think, oh, we got to get vinegar. No, 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 no. You're making your own. So there we go. That should be just perfect. Now, I got to clean up my area as I go. Otherwise, I can't see anything. All right, so what we're going to do is make our brine. Simple, easy peasy. Let's talk about flavoring for your brine, first of all. Normally, most of us run to the store to get our herbs, right? We would go and we'd get dill. I love dill. Dill is like one of my favorite things to use in here. And ginger. I love making ginger brine. I love black pepper. I love all of that. Celery, that's another wonderful. So what happens? You go to the store and you purchase like basil or dill, and you use a little bit and you put it in there and you get your brine going. And then you go to make another batch like a few days later, and what happens? It's like this green, goopy mess in your refrigerator because it goes bad. So unless you're growing your own herbs all year round, I mean, that would be a solution, because you know where they came from, don't you? You know where they came from. If they come from the grocery store, you have to get organic. Why? Because they're going to be loaded with pesticides, and they're going to be irradiated so that they don't go bad as quickly. Isn't that crazy? What's radiation? I don't know about you, but they say it causes cancer. So you were putting this cancer, it's crazy. Where is my soapbox? All right, so we're going to make a brine with good water, good salt, and I'm going to use essential oils instead of running to the store to get my herbs. Make sense? Okay. Now, I brought my own water because I wasn't sure if we were hooked up to the city here, and I get really crazy about water, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my salt. This is a really good salt to use, you guys. Never, ever, 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 ever use iodized table salt. It is poison to the body. So this is a Celtic sea salt. You would only want to use this or Himalayan sea salt, okay? Himalayan is pink, and you read make sure that it says Himalayan, pure Himalayan sea salt. Okay, make sense?
From Ireland?
This is, I don't know, that's the name of it. Celtic. Yep, it's Celtic. So I don't know if it's from Ireland, though.
Get that.
You can buy it at the grocery store. Yeah, you can buy it at Publix. You can get it in a health food store. Yeah. Usually I have Himalayan, but this was in a little package. So I brought it with me because it was safer and easier and smaller. All right. So the coarser the salt is, the little bit more you're going to add. I added 2 heaping teaspoons in there. Okay? If it was fine salt, I wouldn't add as much. Make sense? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose what I want to put in here. Why am I using essential oils? Several reasons.
It's the most potent.
It is the most potent. It's the immune system of the plant. And I only use Young Living because they own their own farms. They're the world leader in essential oils. You can ingest all their oils. So I only use them because they have a seed to seal guarantee. They're the only company that does that. So that's why I use Young Living. I don't trust another, like if I used to run down the road to, can I say Leaves and Roots here? But I mean, they don't know where their oils come from. But Young Living owns all their own farms and their own distilleries. So everything's distilled right there. There's no other stuff in it. So I'm going to use black pepper, because I told you I love black pepper.
You can't use regular black pepper?
I could use peppercorns. Sure, absolutely. But I have my oils,
Okay.
and this is more potent. And I'm going to use dill. I love dill. You really don't need much. I'm using 3 drops, but that's because it's going to be nice and strong when I go to drink it afterwards as a... Okay, so when you do this at home, you'll have your own like little system that you do, right? You know if you can use your water from the tap. Do you have something good to filter it out with? People say, well, I have a refrigerator. That's not a good filter, okay, just so you know. You just don't want to get lousy water. You don't want your vegetables sitting in something like that. So buy something. If you don't, if you only have the city water to go buy something. Spring water would be great, right? So this is from my alkalizer. I have a Kangen alkalizer, so I like that. That's really good water.
You can make it.
What?
You can make alkaline water.
Okay, yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, you can buy it. You can, whatever you're in the mood for. Just don't use that junk from the tap if you don't have good water.
Did you measure the water or is it?
No, I'm just making that salt dissolve, and I'm mixing the oil up to it. You can kind of see the oil in there. So I'm going to pour it in here, and I know I'm going to have to put more water in there. So, and I want to get all the oil and salt off the bottom, so. Yeah, the good stuff, exactly. All right.
Sea salt?
You can use sea salt. Well, this is the difference. Sea salt has 3 minerals in it, and Himalayan salt, the pink salt, has like 87 minerals, and Celtic has 84. So when you're going to do something, always err on the side of more. So our bodies are so deficient in things like magnesium and selenium, you always want to use good salt. So
So Celtic was 84 and Himalayan was?
87, 86, 87, something like that. Okay,
So Himalayan has more?
Himalayan has more.
Oh, okay.
So kosher salt is not an option.
No,
Okay.
I know, because it
Doesn't have
sounds
mercury in it.
it sounds so kosher, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is I want my vegetables to be under the water. So I'm going to place my little ramekin on top, and they go underneath the water, so everything's being underneath the brine. Does that make sense?
What happens if it's not underwater?
It'll be subject to, it won't be as fermented. The rest of it will be, but see, it's all under the water. So, yeah, it's not like those little ones on the top are going to be bad. You're just going to mix it in. So, okay, so I'm going to put my lid on. And that lid, did I show you the top of the lid? It's got a hole. Yeah, and it's got a little, what do you call that thing? Thank you, gasket. Gee, I'm having noun loss. Okay, now,
Could you use a regular, one of those things that have a hole in it?
you could if you're,
Just-
sure. Go ahead, but you need to be able to fit this in it,
Okay.
okay?
So you're leaving the ramekin in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
What
rim,
about the reaction of the brine with the metal?
nope, that's not, that's 304 stainless steel. That does not leach. So 304 stainless steel is the good stainless steel. It's not aluminum. Yeah, so that is the good stuff. And then what I did, I put the water in here ahead of time. This you don't have to worry about because this water isn't going anywhere. This is a little, I had to bring this from my house like this because I wasn't sure if I could like get that water in that little hole. Okay, so you'll notice if you look at the top, there's little tiny holes in the top, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to put this in here like so. And what you're doing is, because there's holes in the top, as this begins to ferment and bubble, all your oxygen, all your gases come out the top. None of the bad stuff can get in.